everyone, I'm Lucy and this is my husband Lahiru. We are living in the south of Sri Lanka, living a crazy busy life working at an animal sanctuary with over 2,000 dogs, renovating our home and creating these weekly videos. So subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks to our patrons and members who support our work and help to keep us going. Let's jump straight back into the questions. Okay, now we have some work-related questions. Right, super easy question. What do we do for work? What's our jobs?
Sri Lankan animal source, 2,000 dog here. Every day and feeding and cleaning, disabled dog, wheelchair. This lovely dog.
Good job.
A good job. Every day dog coming an accident. Every day puppies coming. Some people and dump the road and bigger. Some people and taking and this Argo home visit. And like seeing all the time YouTube channel. 1 week, 1 video our holiday day. This video making a YouTube channel. Go somewhere, travel, swimming pool, water pool, beach, house renovation, everything and making something. I like all the time the video. I like dog here, family, nice dog.
Yeah.
Very clever dog.
I'm amazed at how energetic and dedicated both you and your partner are in your work. I often wonder how you manage to keep pushing yourselves without feeling overwhelmed. How do you find the motivation to continue working constantly? It's truly inspiring and I'd love to learn your secret. How do we work so much? I'm going to answer honestly. It's not easy what we do. The fact that we work 5 to 6 days a week at the animal sanctuary and it's like 9 to 10 hour days, that's in itself is physical and emotional. It's really challenging and heartbreaking and so many emotions at the same time. And then whenever we have free time, we're then working on our YouTube channel and creating videos. So in an evening, I'll come home from doing like a 9-10 hour shift and I'll go into doing 3 hours editing a video and you'll be cooking, and then in the morning I'll try and wake up like an hour earlier just to cram in an extra hour of editing videos. So it's really not an easy lifestyle, like it's super hard, and it does get really overwhelming and exhausting, and I feel that I've been going through a burnout for the last 2 years of my life. Like it's super stressful and it's a lot of work. It's just like always exhausted. You know, can never relax. And even when I do relax, I feel like there's so much work going through my head that I just can't relax because I have to do the work, otherwise I'll fall behind, and I don't want to fall behind in sending out videos. So I just feel like there's so much pressure in everything that we do, whether it's at the sanctuary or for our YouTube channel. So I feel like we have to find the balance some point soon in our life between being at the animal shelter and then having a life and working on this YouTube channel. Yeah, so it's definitely overwhelming, our life and our work. I think when people watch our videos, it's really easy for people to think that we live the dream life and everything, but actually it's non-stop. We do not stop. So yeah, just gonna be honest there. And then someone says, tell us more about Animal SOS. Is it possible to come and volunteer?
Yeah.
We always need volunteers because there's so much work to do. So even if you come just to pick up poo or groom some dogs or take dogs out, like disabled dogs out in their wheelchair, or play with the puppies, like there's always something to do. So volunteering is a really important part of the sanctuary. And how can we help? I'm from London, thank you. So you can help like online just by spreading the word, because not many people know about Animal SOS. Yeah, so just like talking to your friends and family, sharing the Facebook and Instagram posts that are posted from Animal SOS, because it's amazing to see like the recovery of the dogs that are being taken in. There's some like horrific cases that come through the gates. Yeah, you can donate online, you can do fundraising. There's so much that we can do as a community. And yeah, come to the sanctuary, and if you're in Sri Lanka, please come to visit. Please help the street dogs.
Yeah.
In your community. I think it's super important that if everyone in Sri Lanka focused on the street dogs that are in their local community and like help to feed them and vaccinate and sterilize, like there wouldn't be as much cruelty that's going on in Sri Lanka. So I think if everyone was to pull together, then it would be a much better place for the animals here. We've had a couple of hours of relaxation / editing time and now we're coming out to answer a few more questions. So we're now on the last category, which is lifestyle. Have you always been vegan? And if not, what age did you become vegan? Are your parents also vegan? And someone else asked, why did you decide to go vegan? We could literally make a whole video about veganism because it's like the biggest part of our life.
Yeah.
When did you go vegan?
You are meet 3 months.
3 months after we met.
Yeah.
Yeah, you started learning as well, didn't you? Because you didn't know about like everything that happens, all the exploitation and everything to do with health and the environment. So we started watching documentaries together and then you kind of just started learning, didn't you? And it was just easier for us to cook the same foods.
Yeah.
And I think you just naturally transitioned. It wasn't even anything you really thought about. For me, I think I've been vegan for like 7 years now, maybe. And I went vegan when I started traveling and I started seeing like all the exploitation and all the different ways of preparing meat. And then I started just researching everything and really opened up my mind to the reality and the truth behind the meat, the dairy, the egg industry, everything. So yeah, for me it was just the best choice and the only choice was to go vegan. You can't be aware of everything that goes on, especially with animal cruelty, and still eat meat. I just think it's really bizarre. So my parents are kind of vegan, I think. They definitely don't eat meat or fish anymore. I don't know if they eat eggs or milk. I don't think so. They're always like getting milk alternatives and everything. And I know that they try to be as actively vegan as possible. Okay, the next question, which kind of is relevant to this current moment in time with the prayer that we have going on in the background, is religion. Are we religious? Are we Buddhist? Your qualities and habits referred to as Buddhism. You're Buddhist. Yeah, I'm not religious. I like many different teachings from different religions, and especially a lot of Buddhism. But yeah, I don't have a religion. I'm just one with nature. And I really stick by to compassion to all living beings and put out good and hopefully get good back. Okay, next thing. What do you think about living expenses here in Sri Lanka compared to the UK? Well, UK prices are way higher than they are in Sri Lanka. Saying that the cost of living is higher, like the wages are way higher than what people get paid here. So it is kind of balanced, I guess, in a way, but no, I just think UK, everything is ridiculous price now. Everywhere in Europe, it seems to be. And even Sri Lanka, the cost of everything's gone up. Like when I first came here, a loaf of bread was 50 rupees, and now it's 150 rupees. So it is tripled in price, and everything is really expensive. And I couldn't now go back to England and live happily in England. It's just not possible. I could not afford it. Okay, you grew up in a cold climate, so I'm curious, how are you holding up with this hot weather? I hate the cold weather. Like England had me so depressed with all the rain and the wind, and it's just miserable all the time. I think that's how English people sum up England, is miserable. I mean, it has its good days. Like sometimes there's a really nice English summer, but that's quite rare, I think. So I really like the heat, and I've traveled a lot through Southeast Asia, so the heat doesn't bother me really. I really like it. When it rains here, I get really sad, like today.
I'm like cold.
Cold? You wouldn't like how cold it gets in England. I want to see you when it's snowing, and like you'd be fully in like jackets and scarves and hats and gloves, and see if you like it then. Alright guys, just me here. We actually lost you the other day whilst we were filming. Our battery died, and then we just couldn't be bothered to wait for it to charge and carry on filming the rest of the questions. So we just called it a day, and I thought I would finish answering them today. We're just currently doing some house renovations today, and now I'm really tired, so I thought I'd take a break and answer these questions. But yeah, if you're wondering why I look so disgusting, it's because we've been knocking down more walls. So hopefully we can bring you those renovations videos soon. But anyway, let's jump straight back into the questions. And it's just me because Lahiri is doing lots of work back there, and he can't really relate to most of the questions because they're more directed at me. So let's get started. And I'm still sick, so bear with me. Okay, so Nadine, hi Nadine. She says, hi Lucie and Lahiru. My question is the following. Lucie, what do you prefer in Sri Lanka and what are the things you don't like? It's a really good question actually. There are so many things I prefer in Sri Lanka. I'm guessing we're going to compare it to England, but I just love Sri Lanka. I think it's just an incredible country and I love it so much, otherwise I wouldn't still be here. I love the weather. I love the heat. I just absolutely adore it. I love the beauty of the nature. Like there's so much greenery, especially where we live in the south. Everything is so green and the beaches, it's just so breathtaking. And when we went on our honeymoon, we experienced lots of different places and everywhere was so different but unique and amazing. So yeah, I really love that. Yeah, there's some great things to see and do here, like the national parks and just spending time at the beaches and exploring different parts of Sri Lanka and going surfing. There's so much to do here, go hiking. And of course, I love the fact that we've made our home here. So it just makes the country even more special because like we are here, like this is our home and we're creating our life here. Some things I don't like. There are a few things I don't like, of course. I think you'll find that in every single country. What I really don't like, and I still to this day find it really hard to deal with, even though I've been here for 3 years, is people staring at me because I'm foreign. And even though Sri Lanka is my home, like I see it as my home, I always say, this is my home now, I live here. I will always be a foreigner in my home. So that is quite hard. I really don't like that feeling of being uncomfortable, and I'm sure you can relate. Like if you are a foreigner coming to Sri Lanka, you can probably relate to that. Also, I really don't like the bus drivers. They are just horrendous. Like it's true what you read. You pretty much read about this everywhere. Before you come to Sri Lanka, it will be about the bus drivers. And it's completely true what they say, like they just have no care for anyone or anything on the road except for themselves and their money that they're making from driving so fast. I really don't like the pollution. There's so much plastic pollution. We went to the beach the other day and there was just plastic everywhere, and because it's low season, no one's cleaning it up because there's no tourists here. And of course, I really don't like the animal cruelty here. And I see it on a daily basis because working in the sanctuary, we have some horrific cases that come in. That's at the hands of humans. Like humans are abusing the animals to the point that they are disabled or brain damaged or blind or dead. It's just absolutely crazy. And yeah, like it's really hard for me. Like it's something I really don't like is the fact that this is primarily a Buddhist country. So like Buddha says, have compassion to all living beings, but some people that follow Buddhism, they don't think like that. They don't care. They have no care about any other beings around them. But yeah, I see that because of the industry we're working in. Like not just as a tourist coming here, you probably wouldn't see it so much. Like you do see skin problems and some dogs with missing limbs or whatever. If you're going to be working in an animal sanctuary like we do, then you do see the cruelty every single day. Bridget says, when you have time, do you practice yoga? We're trying to make time actually for ourselves now. I think we've been through that stage where we have pushed and pushed and pushed ourselves with our workload, that we have just forgotten about ourselves and our well-being. Like I've been weeks and weeks without brushing my hair. Like I just didn't even think about brushing my hair or shaving my legs, you know, like I just wasn't even thinking about myself or like taking those couple moments to do a pamper session. I was just so busy and so focused on either working at the sanctuary or like trying to get these videos out. So now we're trying to find more of a balance in our really busy life. So that is really hard. I haven't yet started practicing yoga again yet, but I am doing more exercise, which I really like. Even though our work at the sanctuary is exercise all day and our renovations is exercise, I still try to find like 15-20 minutes of an evening just to do like an exercise video or something, or my stretching, because it makes me feel so good. So just having that it's making me feel better. But yeah, yoga not yet, but my best friend here, she is really into her yoga, so I hope to start doing yoga with her soon. What is the best feeling for you to live in Sri Lanka? Sri Lanka brings me so much joy. It really does. I love it here so much, and I feel like I would love it and appreciate it a whole load more if we weren't working 24/7. Someone asks, what internet provider do you use and is it stable for your content creation work? We use Dialogue. It's like one of the biggest internet providers here in Sri Lanka. I wouldn't say it's the best. I don't know. It's the only thing that we have been using. And I don't know if it's because of our location and the kind of broadband that we have. It's not super reliable, which is one of the reasons why we do have delays in our video uploads, because sometimes we can't upload because of the Wi-Fi, like it's taking way too long. For some reason the sun has decided to shine itself in my face. I'm not complaining, but it's blinding me. Oh, that is lovely actually. At least we have sunshine instead of rain. It's been raining so much. You would rock a short bob. Would you go shorter? I'm actually missing my long hair. Like when I'm editing videos and I'm looking back on our previous videos, I see myself with long hair and I'm like, oh wow, I actually did really like it. Even though it was really annoying, it's really long and just too much to handle really, because for not much time for myself, I just think it's easier just to chop my hair off, and it's just easier. But saying that, I would really like longer hair again. It is growing though, I don't know if you can see, it's growing since I cut it, but I don't think I'd go shorter. I don't think I'd have the confidence to go shorter. How do you learn Sinhala? I'd really appreciate your advice. So I learned the language Sinhala by being here. I think it's probably the easiest way to learn a language is by being in the country and immersing yourself around people who speak the language, who are native of that language. I don't have time to sit down and like properly learn. Like I'd love to. I'd love to be fluent in Sinhala. That would be amazing. Like imagine people wouldn't know I understand what they're saying and they're talking about me, and then I could be like, aha, I know what you're talking about. That would be cool. But no, I can understand a lot of the language, and I am learning. Like Lahiri teaches me like everyday things. I'm not confident at speaking Sinhala. I speak it really well when I'm angry and I start shouting at people in Sinhala. But I'm like Lahiri with his English speaking. He's not confident at speaking English on camera to you guys, which is why you think he doesn't speak very good English. That's like, you would probably think I don't speak very good Sinhala, but it's because I'm not confident to speak it on camera. Maybe I'll try, you know, I want to get better, but I'm just worrying, like Lahiri does, of the judgment that people give. Like, people judge us without us speaking the language, you know, so imagine if we start speaking the other person's language, how many people are just going to judge us even more because we're trying. Does that sound really funny? Maybe it's me overthinking things. Why did you select Sri Lanka as your second home? Well, because my husband, and I've just naturally built my life here. Like, it wasn't forced, it all came naturally, and it was meant to be. I'm gonna move because the sun is in my eyes. Is that better? I don't know. Oh, the camera's really dirty. That's all the renovations we've been doing today. Okay, I think that's better. Put it down. Okay, someone says, how did you convert visit visa to work visa without leaving Sri Lanka? I did leave Sri Lanka, and everyone hated me for leaving Sri Lanka. I was gone for 2 weeks. We were getting some really horrendous comments. People were saying, I'm gonna unsubscribe until she comes back to Sri Lanka. I knew she'd leave that innocent, poor Sri Lankan boy. I knew she was using him, that white. All of this stuff because I left Sri Lanka for 2 weeks to get my resident visa for Sri Lanka. I didn't convert my visa from visit visa to work visa by staying in Sri Lanka. I had to leave like everyone else. So that was good. At least I have my resident visa now. That's what I'm on. That's how I'm able to stay in Sri Lanka. And yeah, I had to leave. So I went back to England for 2 weeks. And then I came back with my visa. But for all of you guys that gave me hurtful comments, shame on you. How do you manage time and money to renovate the house, do the job and traveling, etc? Time management is a struggle, and really we would like to be doing more to our home, like more house renovations, but we don't have the time because we're always working at the sanctuary, and we definitely don't have the money. We've made so many mistakes on our house in terms of costing. Like, we trusted the wrong people at the start, and we started the renovations and then the economic crash happened, so all the prices increased and it was just awful, but we had to keep going because we couldn't just stop the work. So because of those things, it put us in a bad financial place. But really, talking about financial things isn't something I really want to do because it is quite a private topic. And I think that people have a really awful misconception of YouTubers and influencers, that we make so much money, but it's not the case. Like, it's easy for you to say that from the outside looking in, but unless you're doing this job, like, then you would know what it takes to make these videos and the money that you get from it. Like, it really isn't what people think. But anyway, any free time that we have when we're not working at the sanctuary, we're then working on our house renovations or creating and editing these videos. So time management is a serious struggle for us. Any update on all the seeds and plants you planted in the garden and up the land? I've got one word for you: pigs. We put so much effort into planting loads of seeds and seedlings and pineapple plants up our land. I grew loads of avocados from seed, and they got to like a really good size, and we planted them, and it took like 2 weeks and the wild pigs destroyed everything. Oh no. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're... Absolutely everything. Nothing survived. So that was a bit of a nightmare and quite disheartening, really, because we put so much time and we were so stoked to be able to like start our sustainable garden. Going forward, we are going to be making a natural fence the whole way around our land, which isn't an easy task because our land is massive and it's like this. So it's really hard to be like taking materials up the land and everything, but we're like halfway there, I'd say. So when we've eventually got it all closed off and nothing can get in and our dogs can't get out, we'll then really focus on planting loads more things and creating a sustainable garden, which will bring us a sustainable future. What was it like for you when you first started living in Sri Lanka? Did you see it as a challenge? To be honest, it was a struggle at times, like a lot of the time. Like I said earlier, being a foreigner, everyone does stare at you. It's just something that happens here, which actually, like, I've traveled a lot of Southeast Asia before, and I've lived in both Thailand and Cambodia, and I've never experienced this amount of staring from the locals to foreigners. And I've like heard so many things from other foreigners from being in Sri Lanka as well, like not just living here full time, but as tourists as well. But obviously I know about it more because I've been here for 3 years, so every day I experience this. Oh, Sudi driving a tuk-tuk, Sudi buying potatoes. It's like you literally can't do anything. Everyone wants to know what you're doing and looking at you and talking about you, and it just is what it is. And like that's something I'm always going to struggle with, and I'm never going to get over, but it's always going to be there because I am a foreigner in Sri Lanka. And another challenge for me when I first started living in Sri Lanka, obviously I came here in March 2020. That was at the start of COVID. And it was a massive challenge because Sri Lanka was going in and out of lockdowns all the time. We had really long periods of lockdowns when we had to be stuck inside, and yeah, so that was a challenge at the start. But I think there's always going to be challenges when you're a foreigner living in a different country because things are different. So it's just a challenge to get by and understand the way in which things work in the country. But that makes it fun as well. Okay, we've also had loads of questions about our finance, and like I said earlier, like it's quite a private topic, so I don't really want to dive into it and tell you all about our finances because I think that's a bit bizarre and who actually does that. But what I will say is it really has freaked me out with buying this house. The way that I was thinking, it was really bringing me down because I was really worrying about our expenses. But like Lahiri says, my mom and dad, is that we have this house now. Like this house is our investment and we have it for life. Like this is ours. We don't have to then think, oh, what are we gonna do in the future? Where are we gonna live? Like, we have our home. This is our home, and hopefully this is where our family will grow up in one day. So that's really exciting. So thinking about it like that makes me feel a lot more positive and less worried about our finances. Oh, we get loads of questions about our chickens and the eggs. So someone says, what do you do with chicken eggs because you are vegetarian? I'm vegan, we're both vegan. And yes, we don't eat eggs. We've had quite a few people like, oh, but I thought you were vegan. We had some other people say to us, oh, but why do you want chickens if you're vegan? Well, because we've rescued them from being slaughtered. That's why. Like, that's what we want to do with our life. We want to be able to rescue as many animals as possible. So even though we have chickens in our house, in our garden, it doesn't mean we're gonna eat their eggs or kill them for their meat. Like, no, we're just rescuing them to give them a good life that's cage free, and they can be happy chickens. Like, they can be just happy like every animal should be. So yeah, we don't eat their eggs. We were actually giving our eggs to our friends, and our dogs eat the eggs too. And one of our projects is building a chicken compound, because we had an outside street dog come in and he killed 3 of our chickens. We're building a really safe big compound for them, so they can be outside like all the time, but safely in their compound. So that's exciting. That will hopefully be coming in a renovation video soon. What do you do in your free time, and what is your favorite Sri Lankan food? To be honest, we don't really have much free time, as I think you probably would be aware by now. Free time is either doing the house renovations or creating and editing these videos. Never really have time to just chill. I wish I had time to sunbathe, that would be really amazing. But our free time is usually around like 10, 11 o'clock at night time. So I'll edit up until about 9 o'clock at night every night, and then we'll have our dinner, and then that will be our then chill time, and then we'll go to sleep at like 10 or 11 o'clock depending. Sometimes we go to sleep at like 9:30. But I like to watch Netflix, and I really like to watch crime documentaries. Fun fact. Oh, and what is my favorite Sri Lankan food? So many. I really love jackfruit curry. I really love all the fruits here. I really love rice and curry. I really love Lahiru's cooking. He's like the best cook, and I'm not saying that because I'm biased and he's my husband. He literally is the best cook. And going on from that, someone asked, do you have a plan to start a business here? We have a dream that we would love to have like a little vegan cafe one day, and maybe like imagine up the land we have some little tiny homes and people can come and stay with us and be like an Airbnb. But I'd really like to do like vegan tours and be able to cook for people, and have like maybe a couple of pop-up cafes here and there, and be able to raise money, do like events and raise money for charities. Yeah, I've got loads of ideas. I'm not going to say all of our ideas on here because I don't want anyone to take them. There's a lot of expat businesses in Sri Lanka, so it's quite a competition, I think. So yeah, we're definitely not rushing into anything, but one day we could see ourselves making a little business. Yeah. Okay, so I think I've answered a lot of questions. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I feel like I've spoken forever, but I have some questions for you guys actually. My first question is, it's for the tuk-tuk drivers out there. When you're going downhill like this for a really long time and you have to drive slowly down the hill because it's a really dodgy road, would you, 1, keep your tuk-tuk in first gear, keep the clutch held in and obviously keep on the brake, or would you 2, keep the tuk-tuk in neutral and just roll it down and keep your foot on the brake? I just don't know what to do. Another question is, would you be interested in doing another meetup? If you would be, let me know where your preferred location would be. Maybe Colombo. I'm hearing quite a lot of people saying Colombo. And like what days, like would it be a weekday or a weekend? Like I really enjoy meeting you, so I'd really like to make another meetup if it's possible. So let me know in the comments below if you would be interested. And also I just want to quickly say that if you're coming to the Ahangama area, then please come visit the dog sanctuary. We're usually there, so you can meet us as well as learning about the sanctuary, which is really really amazing. And what I please ask is please don't track down our house where we're living and just turn up outside, because it actually really freaks me out. We've had this a couple times and I get like stalker vibes from it. So yeah, please don't try to find our house. If you want to meet us, please just come to the sanctuary if you're in the south of Sri Lanka area. Oh, and this one is for the ladies. So if you've watched our videos and I've inspired you somehow, please let me know how I have inspired you. I've met so many of you, ladies in particular, who have said I've inspired them, and I think it's absolutely amazing. Like, I could never imagine that I inspire people, but apparently I do, which is really awesome. But I'd like to know how. So some of you say that, oh, the sun is back. Some of you say that I've inspired you to do a refurb project, maybe you upcycled something, or you've learnt to ride a bike or ride a tuk-tuk. I'd love to know, like, do you watch our videos and you've started doing something because of our videos? And it doesn't just relate to the ladies as well. You could be a guy and we've inspired you somehow. But yeah, would love to know. Oh, I'm moving again. And my last and final question to you guys is, why are the Sri Lankan floors red? Like, everyone's house has got red floors and it really freaks me out. I don't like it and I just want to know why. Like, why could they not be grey or green? Sand trucks here.